My nails are, I don't think they've ever been so bad in my life.
Well, this is great timing then.
Yes, perfect timing.
And it's also your holiday manicure.
No, I'm going to get them done again beforehand.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm gonna go
because it's 2 weeks away from now.
A very aggressive acrylic.
Aggressive?
Yeah. I mean, like, you know the kind of nails that scream, I don't have responsibilities?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't do dishes, I don't have children, I don't work.
Minimal manual labour. Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
I feel like those are the type of nails that Cardi has.
Yes.
The really long stiletto ones that it's like, so you're basically doing nothing. You're not even holding your phone yourself.
Yeah. Maybe not as long.
Yeah,
but
not that long.
Definitely a bit more razzle dazzle, you know?
Do you ever like theme your manicures? Like if it's like Halloween or it's Christmas, I'm gonna do a certain colour.
No.
Or it's Valentine's Day.
No.
Or my birthday, so I'm gonna do a certain design.
Maybe if it's my birthday, I might have like a gem or two.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really that's throwing the boat out.
Really pushing the boat out. Really going crazy.
The Swarovski crystals.
I had like a marble effect.
Oh nice. I want to try
situation once. That was nice. But then that's about as far as it goes. Like my nail, for a very long time, my nail lady would always be like, doing black again? Like, yeah, I am. I don't know.
Just like,
just so loud.
To basics. Back to basics.
But then I started getting into a bit more colour.
Yeah.
And we're all good now. That's what I do. Usually like a nude or a pink.
Okay. Do you work late? You do nails? Like how you work? Okay.
But I work in the creative industry, so you can. Okay. Like as long as you don't show up naked, they really don't care.
Yeah, as well, because I know some people are very. I used to work in places that were very, very strict about your nails.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that people don't really care about that type of thing anymore. Even in corporate buildings, like things are changing, and I'm so relieved because it'll really get on my nerves.
I had a manager like that once who was always quite funny about people having acrylics. Yeah. And she'd always be like, "Interesting nails," and he was like, "Lady, just say what you want to say." It's like, oh, how do you type with those?
I was just about to say.
You've seen me type. You've watched me type.
My friend told me she's having an experience with like a new workplace. She's only been there a few months.
Yeah.
And she basically, she said to me something along the lines of like, somebody in her team said something about like complaining about her nails, like the sound of her typing, where it was really loud. And I was like, that feels like a microaggression. Like that feels very like... You're trying to sound ghetto. Like that's what it sounds like. Do you know what I mean? Like
say what you want to say, lady.
Yeah. So when you said that, I was like, that literally was what popped up in my mind. So it's so funny that you say the typing thing. It's just the funniest things that you don't even think that people like look at such a small thing and stereotype you that aggressively. But it's like, oh wow,
absolutely ridiculous.
We're still here. But Chrissy, you are 1/3 of Off the Cuff podcast.
Yes, I am.
How does it feel being the only woman on the show when you discuss certain topics? Does it ever feel like, oh, it's going to be a long day, I'm going to have to argue today?
No, because thankfully my co-hosts, they, by and large, are quite sensible. Yeah. And they understand how... Even if something doesn't affect them directly, they understand, because they have women in their lives that they care about, they understand how like certain things will affect women, and what that, and sort of like repercussions of certain things that happen. But I never feel like I have to like argue or stand my point or like force my point down their throats. They're more often than all the time actually, they're like really open to understanding different points of view, even if they don't agree. Yeah. Which I suppose is the big thing, because male or female, you're not going to agree about everything all of the time, but they always give me space to get my point across and try to understand even if they don't agree.
No, yeah, that is one of the reasons why I like Off the Cuff so much, is because of that reason that you said, that I feel like they're very good at balancing, having an open and honest conversation, not just like pandering or just, you know, going against some, like just basically saying what we know the masses want to hear, but being real enough to give our opinion, but also, you know, always applying maturity and you know, other people's perspectives and being able to look at an experience, even if you don't relate, that to apply an understanding to it. So I 100% agree with that. But does it ever like, maybe because they're primarily like, because obviously even on the logo, it's just the two of them, because you've just kind of recently started becoming more in the forefront. So other people might still look at it as like predominantly like a male podcast, quote unquote. Does that ever like affect you in terms of maybe when you're like collaborating with other podcasters, like the type of podcasts that might ask them to come on as guests? Do you ever feel like when you're in those spaces that it gets a bit like, oh, this is long, because I don't know if I'd be in this room if I wasn't, do you know what I mean? Like with Off the Cuff or whatever.
No, not really. Also, I think it's because we tend to work with or have guests on or feature on other people's podcasts who have a similar mindset as well, if you know what I mean. And there have been some times when, that if we're on someone else's podcast, I do feel like I need to stand firm in my point, but I've never felt disrespected by a guest or someone's podcast that we've been on. But also, I'm quite a strong character as well. Like, if I believe something, I believe in it, and I'll get my point across. Like, argue with yourself. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm gonna give you my point, and if we don't agree, then that's fine. But I feel quite lucky that I haven't experienced any like outward misogyny or even indirect, like covert misogyny or people looking at me different or treating me less than the other two than Fold and Van. So I think maybe if I had a slightly different personality, maybe, but today I haven't really been in that kind of situation.
Right,
so
that's good though. That's good. No, because it's good to have two co-hosts that bring positive PR to the male podcast to stereotype. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about things like that. That's good.
I told them I saved you lot from being male podcasters.
Honestly, they're so lucky that they started.
I saved you.
Don't think that I didn't clock. They started bringing you into the forefront more around the time that all of this started happening. That everyone was like, "Oh my god!" So male podcasters need to be abolished. Yeah,
it happened.
I see what you guys did there.
It actually happened quite organically.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next question actually, like, because I know that you weren't that comfortable being that much in the forefront in the beginning. So how did that change? Because you've really like grown, I feel like, as a content creator and a host. Yeah.
At first, I was kind of by accident. I've said it on Off the Cuff before. I was going through a horrible breakup, and I would just come to the studio because it wasn't too far from where I was living. So it was an opportunity for me to just get out of the house because it was lockdown times as well. So I wasn't going anywhere. And then I'd chime in like every once in a while. And then I got there one day and there was just the mic set up. I was like, oh, okay. But just like you said, I wasn't always on camera. I was very happy just being in the background. And one day I got to the studio and I didn't realise the angle the camera was set up at. So we were chatting away, and I think it's about 20 minutes in, I remember asking, am I on camera? It says camera on me. It says camera on me. And that was pretty much like how
that's
that
awkward.
started. Yeah, it was so... I actually remember clocking the angle of the camera and being like,
oh.
They can see me.
In the forefront today.
They can see me. And then it just became a bit more natural. But it is something that I feel has helped loads, like in terms of my confidence. Because although I'm quite a confident person, I don't like being front and centre. Around my friends and people that I'm comfortable with, I'm like a big personality, big character. But in other situations, I'm more happy to just sit back and observe. So it definitely has helped. Maybe not confidence, but me coming out of my shell just a lot quicker in social situations. Because that social anxiety be flogging me.
No, I hear you.
So it genuinely has been good for that. And it wasn't something that we planned to do or something that I even thought would be a long-term thing, because again, like I said, I just chime in here and there.
And had you done any episodes at all before the pandemic with them, just every once in a while? Or was this literally the first time that you even...
did one with them, like, back in the day.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Because I was trying to look for old episodes as well, and I was like, oh my God, it is more recent, which is so weird, because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you've been there for ages.
Thank you. I don't know what the date would have been exactly, but I remember the episode that I went on, we were talking about Harambe, the gorilla. I don't know when that was, but it was like years and years ago.
Okay, that was, I don't think I even heard that episode either.
Yeah, it was early. Okay. And then, mainly from like mid 2020, early 2021, that's when I started like being a part of the podcast.
Yeah, and it was literally just from hanging out with friends, just to take your mind off of your situation. Yeah.
And that's
sometimes the best things happen by accident though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have such a good dynamic between the three of us that it even when I joined, it never felt like
you guys are
an
hilarious.
addition.
Yeah, like no, as a trio, I think that you all like 100% work. Like I feel like not just like you guys are very like I really like your podcast because it's topical and that's like my favorite content anyway. But you're all very funny in individual ways, and I feel like your comedic timing. It's not easy, you know. Like people like act like it's like oh, it's just like something so natural, but it's like you guys are all kind of almost perform in a way, but you're still very natural.
Yeah,
it's such a weird combination, but like it really works. So I feel like as a trio, it's the perfect recipe.
We bounce off each other so well.
Yeah,
and we have.
Sometimes you'll have like jokes that I'll be like, I don't get it. I don't, because obviously you guys are real friends.
Yeah.
So like you'll be like talking about some stuff or joking about certain things as like a personal joke, or you won't say all the way on the thing. I'm like, no, what are we involved? What's going on? That's how like good your chemistry is, and I feel like that's why it works because you guys are genuine friends.
Yeah, we are. And what's nice is that we can hold each other. Not that there's anything that we don't need to hold each other accountable for, if you know what I mean. But it's true friendship in the sense that we are never really annoyed with each other. We can just be like, I like that or I don't like that. Let's try this. Let's not do that. And then there's no awkwardness about it. There's no like, we can just go there, have a good time. And I think that definitely translates because when we're podding, it doesn't feel like we're podding. It's actually just the three of us talking for 2-3 hours.
Yeah, it's just a natural conversation,
Nothing much to it.
I really like the last episode you guys did as well. You guys were talking about the film on Netflix.
Yeah.
Leave the World Behind.
They could have left that one behind.
So, I'm not going to lie, I'm so glad that I listened to this episode when I was doing something, because you know when you're multitasking but you're actually trying to concentrate on what you're doing so you don't fully listen. So I went back to it after I watched the movie to like be like, okay, let me hear their thoughts like compared to like now having seen the film. And I was like, damn, you don't really spoil the whole movie. I'm so glad I was not listening because I was like, I did not remember them doing this in-depth spoiler like this.
We did say spoiler alert.
So yeah, spoiler alert, we're definitely going to spoil the movie here because I can't even be bothered to be talking in code with this film. But yeah, I was very intrigued because I heard that it was executive produced by the Obama, so I was like, okay, let me check it out. And honestly, even the cover, I was like, okay, what's going on here with this stag in the middle of the road? Let's watch this then. And I was intrigued. I'm not even like a huge thriller person anyway, because I don't like being scared, and some of them do too much. So it wouldn't be usually the type of thing I watch like that anyway. But when I do, like it's the same feeling that everybody gets when they're watching it. Like you want to uncover what all of this is. Like you want to get to the bottom of it. So for me, I feel like because your critique was that you love the movie, but like it's the last 20 minutes, like the ending is what's like makes it all shit basically.
So bad.
Which I agree with, but that kind of takes away from the whole film for me. Like I can even rate the film high as a total now because it's like, even if I didn't know, because I kind of looked at an article and I saw what the actual ending was, if that makes sense. Like I saw that the girl watched Friends or whatever. But because I didn't know the whole context of the film, I didn't know what that really meant. But even outside of that, I was like, I feel like even if I didn't know what the ending was going to be, you would still kind of be looking at the time going by and be like, well, I know I'm not going to find out what happens in like half an hour. So I know that ultimately I'm going to be disappointed with this ending. And I think that's what kind of made it annoying for me, was that what is this supposed to be then? Like, what is the mess? Like, I get what the message is. I feel like it was mainly about the selfishness of people in like, you know, times like this where it's a disaster or a tragedy happening. But I don't know. It just felt like they were playing with us a little bit. Like I was just like, what are you trying to? It's like you're trying to warn us, but not really. Like, what is this about?
I think there were so many different. What's the word I'm looking for? So many different avenues that they could have explored, or lots of avenues that they touched on very lightly. There's the technology aspect of it all. In that we're so, so reliant on technology these days that if there is something to happen where the internet goes down, we're screwed.
That's what I was thinking.
Cars won't
We're
drive.
so reliant on the internet now. Like even before, low key, everyone realised that there was actually something really scary happening. You could tell even in the beginning they were like, oh, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no this, we can't do, like they were already a bit like on edge. So and it really does tie into so many things that we use. Cars, news, we rely on media, like to be updated on what's going on in the world from it, like
planes.
Getting in touch with our loved ones, like
absolutely everything.
Crazy.
I think that was one, whatever it is that they could have explored. Then there was the whole like family and
The
being
girl.
close to your loved ones, and them like not really understanding the little girl. I can't remember what I was going to say now, but I just feel like it explored lots of things, but on a surface level. Or it touched on different kind of topics on a surface level, whereas I feel like if they'd taken just a bit more time, like the stag, or the deer.
I didn't get that. Like, what was that meant to mean?
We know that nature, like animals are...
Like they were trying to warn them.
Yeah.
But at the end, it looked like they wanted to attack her. And for me, I was so confused because I was like, deer don't attack people. So what is supposed to be going on here? Like, I was so confused about that.
So confused. The birds, you know, that like was it flamingos?
Flamingos, yeah.
So what I thought about that was maybe because birds are, you know, they have this internal type of navigation type thing. I thought
because they fly south for the winter. And that. Yeah.
I thought maybe there's something going on with some sort of magnetic field somewhere. I don't know the science, but...
Okay, I thought they were just trying to almost forewarn people, because you know how animals are kind of the first to clock when something's going down?
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about it specifically in depth of birds, though. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That could be the case. Because I was like, what the hell are flamingos doing here in this New York?
Exactly. That was my thing. Like, maybe
Where do they fly from?
Maybe they got lost because there's some things happened with them, whatever it is.
But there was no explanation for anything, so everything is guesswork.
Whatsoever. And then the GH Scott, or whatever his name is, even the way that he just arrives at the house was a bit...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for them to something low-key be up with them. Just because even in the beginning they were like, oh, we need to make them think everything's okay. So I was like, oh, are you like involved in this somehow? Are you something to be afraid of? Because you know, obviously the fact that the woman, Julia Roberts, is like clearly a blatantly racist white lady.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me wonder if they were trying to like surprise us a little bit with the black people in the film actually being the people to fear.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're automatically going to be like, oh, we know what this is.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, maybe that's the direction it's kind of headed in. But then you kind of realise that everybody is confused as the next person.
Confused.
Nobody understands what's going on.
The main character, he refers to his client quite a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do?
I was wondering, I thought that was just me like forgetting. I thought, well, is he an accountant or something? Like, what does he do?
He said that he has clients
But he has military
in defense.
people. Yeah.
It was very, very vague.
Very. But he clearly does something where he makes a lot of money to be living in that house.
Then when he didn't have his ID because he left his coat.
Yes, and the symphony.
Which I could understand if you are in a like if everyone's panicking and you're just trying to get out. I can understand why.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got your car keys with you. It's just like everything else can
you leave. Yeah.
wait. But it was just so higgy hagga. What was the daughter's deal? Why was she such bad vibes? Where's the mum?
I didn't. Because I got why she didn't have energy for the mum, and I don't know if it was just me, but like, firstly, the mum, like, it was a weird one because I was like, I understand like them showing up out of nowhere and, you know, haven't got ID, like, I get it, because I personally wouldn't really want to let them in either, no matter whether they were black or white, or so I got her being apprehensive, but what was bothersome was that everything was rooted in racism. Like, she was surprised that he could afford this house, or she said that maybe he's a help, like the handyman or something, and like, oh, he might come into my daughter's bedroom and attack. I'm like, whoa, like, you're being so loud with the microaggressions right now.
Where did this racism come from?
Like, out of nowhere. And so I understood her energy towards her because she clocked it in a second. But I felt like overall, like, I don't know, there was something about her, like with the dad, for example, when she said, oh, I like her husband's trying to fuck me. I was like, wait, what? I said, I don't know if the acting didn't show what it was supposed to in that scene, but I was like, if anybody was being inappropriate, I feel like it was you. Like, girl, what are you talking about?
Can we bring it down a peg?
Like, where you asked him, have you fucked one of your students? I was like, where's this going?
I gasped. I said, oh.
Where is this going?
And then, but what was weird is in the beginning scenes, or in one of the early scenes of the movie, the Julia Roberts character is listening to Boyz II Men.
Oh, yeah,
Blackstreet?
I think it was Blackstreet in the car. And they were listening, was it Next? Yeah, they played Too Close.
One of the two. Yeah. And then they're dancing, when she's dancing with Mr. Scott.
That was when it was Next.
It's like, we're married.
That was...
Lady?
This is when the film started to fall downhill for me. Because it was like, how did we get... You just started liking each other 2 seconds ago. How do we get here? And your husband's literally right there. Like, I don't.
The dad was such a tart for money, because the moment Mr. Scott said, "I'll give you $1,000," he was like, "Oh."
The dad did not care.
He didn't care.
He was so blasé about it.
We're literally jumping all over the place here, but I didn't understand what his deal was, because at the very beginning, when the daughter was like, "This boat is coming close to us."
Oh yeah, the daughter clocked everything from the beginning.
Then the mum said, "Okay, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned now," and the dad's like, "It'll be fine. We'll be fine, won't we?"
Dismiss everything.
He's like, yeah, we're fine. Even if what didn't make sense to me, or what I didn't like, is how just laissez-faire he was, because you can see it's coming towards you. You can see it's getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
This is was it an oil tanker?
It was an oil tanker, yeah.
An oil tanker. It shouldn't be here.
No.
So you're just assuming that it's going to stop.
That it's fine.
But it shouldn't be here.
And you could tell that nobody was navigating it as well. The way it was
just
coming
going
just straight, like, yeah. So I was just like, they waited way too, like, I understand when it's far in the distance,
yeah.
But when you see it's literally over here and it's not stopping.
It's not changing course.
You waited way too long like, I was like, I hope nobody died, but nobody really should have died. Like, people should be running from the beginning, but
hey. When it banks, is that what you call it? When it gets onto dry land, of course it's going to slow down, but even when, like, just before it reaches the beach, people are still standing there, and I'm just like,
this is what I'm saying, like, last minute people are grabbing their stuff and just running. I'm like, why did we wait so long? Like, look how big the boat is right now. Like, you had so much time to be running when you knew. Oh, God.
So much time.
White people.
The dad was just a bit, I didn't understand his character. Like, do you hate your family? Do you
hate your family?
Yeah, because you weren't concerned that they were about to get mushed by the
the white guy. Okay,
tanker.
yeah.
Then there's a random man that comes into this house. He offers you $1,000, and you're like, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Not one. I don't know if they'd asked him for ID at that point, but you're just like, yeah, fine, whatever, no problem. Then you leave them to go into the town to do what exactly?
I don't remember the dad's name, but when the dad went to drive out to find help, and he saw that Spanish woman, and he just drove off, yeah? So I was just like, oh, wow, that was cold. But then at the same time, I was like, I guess this kind of brings me back to what I said initially about when the guy and his daughter showed up at the house, and it was like, the way they handled it was messed up. At the same time, I wouldn't necessarily want them in the house either. I feel like, in this case, I was like, what if the person spoke English though? Even in that case, do I necessarily want to put them in my car? I don't know. It's just, these things are so like, you want to do the right thing, but then it's like, what if this person is a psycho and it's just going to take advantage of the fact that we're in this situation? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you've got to think about your own safety as well. So it's kind of like, there were definitely points in the film that I was like, I know this is supposed to show that this is like a fucked up moment, but at the same time, I'm like, I think that naturally that the whole, everything chaotic about all of this happening, I think that will naturally bring out a little bit of selfishness, or a lot of selfishness
absolutely.
in people anyway, because honestly, a lot of life is about self-preservation. I definitely wouldn't, like, if I saw any children, for sure.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But, like, I think adults, I might be a little bit hesitant. But then I think where it got to the part where the Teslas were all doing the most, I might be like, you know what, let's just hope whoever we meet is not a psycho. Because at this point, we need several brains to put together. Because where it got to that part, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I did think it was a bit, just like you said, when you don't know how you're going to react until you're actually in that situation. But that the lady that was left out, she wasn't speaking English, she was speaking Spanish. And my thought was, okay, fair. I don't understand a word that this woman's saying. However, she is clearly desperate.
She clearly needed help.
She needs help.
You didn't need to speak Spanish to understand that part.
Exactly. If it was, I suppose it is a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but if it was just me as a woman, I feel like I'd be more inclined to help another woman in that situation rather than a man.
Yeah.
But I think for him, this woman, she's not gonna overpower you. She's just by herself.
Yeah.
My first thought when she was, because she was so frantic, my first thought was, is there some sort of like crazy flesh-eating bacteria that's in the water somehow, and now people are turning into like fake zombies and they're all going crazy, which seems very outlandish. Yes.
I mean, at this point, we can predict anything.
This is it, because
literally assume anything, yeah.
Because they were in that kind of situation
Yeah.
where nobody actually knows what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I was first watching it. Like, is this woman, is she okay?
I thought she might actually know something because she was saying a lot, and obviously, like we said, we didn't understand what she was saying. But I was just like, I feel like you have a lot to say.
Yeah.
Though. Do you know what I mean?
It
Like,
was serious stuff.
Do you know
she was
something
trying to
that they
say.
don't know about what's going on? Because I was even thinking, I wonder if anyone, like, I feel like the daughter's low-key smart, maybe knows a little Spanish. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, is there any translating what she's saying? Because I feel like she might have actually been an asset in the end. But yeah, that was really sad, especially when you realise, your mind goes back to it throughout the movie, you're like, that woman's probably dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's by herself in the middle of actual nowhere.
And at that point, the Teslas had probably come through as well. So yeah, she probably got hit by a car or plane. Like, did you understand why everything? Because I think that the Teslas was done on purpose to block the road. Mm-hmm. So I think those would be these hackers or whatever. But why were there plane crashes? I was like, I don't know if I'm being slow, but why is everything like? Why are planes still being launched in this? Like, what's going on?
I think because we don't really know. They're not very clear about how long the time frame is.
When this started, no, they're not.
Yeah, they're not quite.
So it seems like it's kind of recent, but we don't know about how.
Oh, I just meant like the amount of time that this happens over. So I assume it's like a day or two, 2-3 days. It's not very long. Yeah. But what I think, okay, so with the planes, I don't think it would have been possible for planes to take off once all of this stuff had actually started happening.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I think it's planes that were already in the sky.
Okay.
Because if you're going...
Then wouldn't they all fall at the same time? Maybe it takes a little while for some of the
very fair point, actually.
I don't know how the... Because I would think it would be an instant thing if their satellite signal had been completely...
Yeah, that is a very fair point.
I don't know how planes work, to be fair, so...
Maybe it was like a staged type of... a staggered...
Yeah, it was probably done intentionally by whoever is, because this is being done by somebody. That much is clear. Because it said US at the end, where she got into that bunker, the little girl, it said US is under attack. It just didn't say...
By who?
By who, yeah. So the country is still unclear.
But then they blamed the Arabs, then they blamed the Korean.
Yeah,
and so I get from that perspective, you know, like they were saying it's a 3-point plan and the easiest way to do it is do this and cause chaos and then people will take care of themselves eventually. Yeah. But with what they could have done with that film, I think the way it ended and the fact that there were so many loose ends, if one or two of them or a few of them had been tied up, and you're like, it's almost a bit like a payoff. Like, okay, I don't really know why this girl was so pressed about watching Friends, but we know why the planes fell out of the sky, or we know, like, why does this guy actually have a bunker? I know there are people who like doomsday preppers.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like this girl was. Yeah.
There were just too many like. So like there were just too many.
This is the thing, like I was wondering that as well. It's like, so where are these people? They went to the trouble of building this bunker, but they're not even
here. And then they're not here.
Yeah.
It's just, and then his friend in the military or whatever just told him to look after. It was. By the
way, that guy knew a lot more than he was making out that he did. I'm like, I feel like you have quite a clear idea of what this is. What do you think the girl's gonna watch after she's done with Friends? So I was looking at the box sets up in there, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, this number one has me tempted to start buying physical copies of things just in case.
Yeah.
And number two, there was a lot there. There was Buffy, Heroes, Will and Grace. I had mad oldies.
Will and Grace was good.
Yeah.
I think...
I was like, she's going to have a good time up in here.
She seems like a babe that likes drama. So I think hopefully there was some Xena, Warrior Princess on there.
I'm sure there was. There was loads of stuff.
Yeah. That or Buffy. I think she might enjoy that.
Yeah. I was thinking Buffy as well. I was like, I should watch Buffy. But yeah, no, it was, I mean, there was parts I liked, but as a whole, disappointed. I'll give it like a 4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But what do you think of people saying that because the Obamas directed it, that this is like, not an omen, but like, or warning, but they're basically trying to, like, this is directed by someone that has knowledge of stuff that's going on behind closed doors in, you know, what's said to be the most powerful country in the world. And obviously a lot's going on now in terms of, you know, Gaza, and like, Russia, Ukraine, like, there's a lot going on in general in the world that has people thinking, like, is this a possibility?
Yeah. Yes, it definitely could be, but I don't think we would be foolish to think that only now they would know and they would actually warn us. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought. I said,
no.
I definitely think there's a little something in it, but at the same time, I don't think that they're attempting to warn us.
No,
I don't think they warn us.
No, because what does that, like, how does that benefit
Exactly,
anyone?
yeah.
If we were, this is going to sound a bit morbid and crazy, but I feel like if we were in like an extinction kind of event, would you literally want to tell everyone? No, because the world would act. If everyone is going to die, let's just.
Can you imagine? Oh my god, people would actually.
It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy.
It'll be chaos even before the actual event happens.
Yeah.
And then it'll be one of those things where it's like, oh my god, was the world ever going to end, or did someone just?
Did we just? What's the word? Like, was this a catalyst?
Yeah,
there we
exactly.
go for everyone killing themselves. So you just have
That would be a good film. Just to like pre-warn the whole world that this is going to happen in 7 days and
it
see
would
what
be
society does.
I'm sure there were even quite a few movies like that already. Yeah. I think the movie was disappointing.
Because I'm sure a lot of us are capable of a lot if we think that we only have these 7 days before shit all hits the fan.
When your back's up against the wall, I think in normal situations like day to day, in relationships, friendships, when something unexpected happens or someone says something unexpected, I think everyone's been in a situation where they've reacted in a way that was out of character, that they would have said, oh my God, I would never do that. I'm always quite level-headed. But until you're faced with those kinds of situations or challenges, you're never actually going to know. You're never going to know.
True. Well, let's pray. Let's continue to pray.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
because
crossed.
I'm not going to lie, every time I watch movies like this, I'm like, I'm not getting far in the movie. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll get 45 minutes in, I think. So let's hope that this never happens in real life, because I don't know, boy. Unless I have a bunker, which my family do not.
I'm lying down.
My hopes are not high. So with film and TV, all I've been really watching is rap shit as well. So you've been watching rap shit too.
Yes,
right?
I haven't finished it, but very close.
What do you think of season 2 so far?
It didn't grab me as much as season 1 did.
Yeah.
I don't think it was
season 1 then?
Not
vague.
Not in depth, but I remember the feeling. I feel like it was a lot more engaging from the start. Whereas this one, I get that they've like hooked us in and they've created the characters. You want to understand more about them, but I don't think it's as like season 1, but it's not terrible at all. I feel like, because where you left off is where it just starts to peak. I think, because I thought the exact same. I thought season 2 was slow to start, with the exception of the second episode. I was like, I feel like not much has really happened like that. And then the last 2 episodes was like, oh, okay. Oh my
we're
gosh.
kind of saving it. All right.
Oh my gosh.
And now I'm kind of intrigued as to how it's going to end, because I've just finished the 7th episode and there's only like 1 left. But where did you get up to in it? So I got 5. So there's 7 episodes, right? So 8. Well, 7 out so far. Yeah. Okay. So I got to the end of episode 5, where they're at the party, the billboard party, I think it is, and Mia is sleeping with some guy, but she's got like a few situations in the same party. Risky. That's the babe that lives life on the edge. Let's actually talk about Mia, because she's actually. Can I give you a spoiler for the? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so we'll get into Mia first, because Mia is doing. She's the one who came up with the phrase "seduce and scheme," right? So she's trying to be running these niggas out here, but like I feel like she's doing it all wrong. Yeah. Like this season, she really confused me, because I was like. Firstly, that first guy, Cash, or whatever his name is, who I thought was going to be like way more. I did not think it was going to be this much of a fuckboy, put it that way. And then where he posted a picture of her with her cheeks out, and then she acted like it was no big deal. I was like, wait, what? Babe. Why would you do that? What are you doing here? I thought that was a bit weird. And then the way that she justified it was like, oh, but he's claiming me. Sis, stand up. What? Stand up. Because he said you removed that dress, it's all fine. You're doing seducing and scheming wrong. It's giving bird behavior. That's exactly what was given. Being a bird. Exactly what was given. And then Lamont, the baby daddy, who she's still kind of throwing in the mix every now and again. I think if you don't want to be with that man, leave that man alone. This is the spoiler I was going to give you, right? Because in the last episode, the recent one, I don't know if my opinion's like a unpopular one, because when I went online to people watching the show, I was like, am I the only one that doesn't really think Mia did anything wrong? Because basically, you know that Courtney guy that she fucking with? That's Lord AK's friend. The one that she was fucking in the bathroom. Yes. So essentially in the last episode, they're trying to get beats, her and Shauna. Francois is not hollering at them. Lamont, the baby daddy, he keeps saying the studio's booked and he's not sending them any beats even though he says he will, so it's a bit long for them now. So randomly, he's in the studio with Courtney, because remember, she linked them together.
Yeah.
So they're making a track, and he's like, oh, I need some female energy on this. And they're like, oh, cool. So I'm not sure whose idea it was to call Mia, whether it was his or Lamont's, but they call her. Shauna's busy, so she ends up going alone. But meanwhile, just before she got that call, she finds out that Lamont's fucking that girl, Tiffany, who is one of the other, she must know her from around. And she don't like her. She didn't like her before. So now that they're fucking with each other, it's like, oh. So she's not happy that Lamont is fucking her daughter's friend's mum.
Yeah.
And now she just got a call to the studio. So she's like basically coming in dressed real sexy. She's all over the nigga. They do a verse, all of that. And Lamont is really mad. Like, she leaves the studio and they start getting into it. There's a lot of bitches coming from Lamont that I didn't like.
Goodness me.
And essentially he got mad that she was all up in her face, all up in his face with it. And he says to her, like, basically something along the lines of like, oh, you wouldn't know about taking this seriously. Like, I do this shit for real. Like, you pop pussy for progress. Like, your mom is in your bloodline. I was like, wait.
I'm sorry. If someone said that to me, you would actually have to call the London ambulance to come and scoop my remains from the ground. What?
No, pop pussy for what? Blood? What? Oh my God.
My heart would stop beating.
Especially since you have a daughter with her, so you're technically talking about your daughter as well. So I was just like, okay, and people were like, okay, what Lamont said was fucked up, but he was right to be upset about her being all over him in the studio. And I'm like, I technically feel like it's only like valid that he feels like that because he's still in love with her. Yeah. But outside of that, let's say they're in a situation where they've moved on and they're both single, doing their own thing. I personally don't understand what's wrong with her dealing with this guy. And if they happen to call her over to the studio to work, it's like, I don't really get, like, do you know what I mean? Like, but people were saying, oh, she was being messy and this and that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I get it in a way that maybe she should mind her pumps just a little bit, because you know how people are so desperate to call women pass arounds anyway. So that's the only thing I would say.
Mind her pumps is hilarious.
Just small, because the first guy was a rapper, and now this guy's a rapper. So I'm a bit like, oh, sis, you know how they be trying to be so ready to slut shame you anyway, so you don't want to be not taken seriously in the industry, you know? So that's the only thing I would say. But I feel like that's something she'll eventually figure out. But like, I don't know, I feel like she didn't do anything to Lamont, I don't think.
I think it's the whole, like, you don't want this man, leave him alone. And it seems like she was giving him all that energy because someone else is interested.
But do you think she doesn't want him, or do you think she just doesn't want him because he doesn't have money?
I think she just doesn't want anyone else to have him. The money, if he got money...
Like, yeah, I feel like if he got money tomorrow, she'd want him.
If he got money tomorrow, she would be more inclined. But I think she's got a soft spot for him, definitely. That's the father of her child.
Yeah.
But if Cash was serious or the other guy was serious, she would never give him another glance. But when he was in the park with Melissa and the babe, Tiffany, I think her name.
Tiffany, yeah, that's her name, yeah.
She started catching a bit of an attitude. But why are you mad? Like, why are you actually mad?
Yeah.
And I do like that he kind of checked her just a little bit, like, baby girl, chill.
Yeah. So you're not trying to go down that road again.
But that man, you pay him mind when it's convenient for you or when someone else is paying him attention.
Yeah,
just let him be. Like, for me it seems like for Mia, Lamont is that safety net almost. Like, no matter how bad things get, security blanket, she can go back to that person who is, like, knows exactly who she is, sees all her flaws and still accepts her, and she can just be with him. But she also wants more, but not at the expense of, I don't think she doesn't want to chase more at the expense of her relationship with Lamont, however you want to phrase the term relationship. But when she gets to the bag, I think he'll be irrelevant to her.
Yeah.
It's just while she's climbing, she just needs that security. But once she gets what she wants, I think she's out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to even figure out, because obviously this story is loosely based on the City Girls story. So it makes me wonder what direction they're trying to head with it. Like, is Shauna going to end up going to jail and stuff? 'Cause that does make me feel like we can predict where Mia's probably going to end up getting to the bag pretty shortly. Because obviously in real life, JC went jail around the time the City Girls started blowing up. So I feel like that is likely for her. Yeah, you're right. I don't see her taking him that seriously.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, in a different financial position. Yeah,
because with the common,
which is such a shame because I kind of low-key want them to be like the Beyonce and Jay-Z in Miami-ish.
She's just not on it.
I know.
I think I don't think it's just about money for him at
no,
all. Like, I mean, for her, sorry.
Oh, for her, okay.
It's not just about money. I think for her, it's also the status that these people can provide. Okay, so you're rich, but I wouldn't see, if he was rich, I wouldn't see her dropping everyone else to have him at the parties and the red carpets and whatnot, because although he might be rich, he doesn't have status just yet.
Yeah.
Whereas if he had, I think she'd even be more inclined to like put him in the passenger seat if he had status rather than money, like if people knew who he was.
But then what if he starts blowing up? Because he could too, because obviously now he's produced this track for this Courtney guy who's a big artist.
Yeah.
So he could start to blow up around the same time as her.
Yes, and I think the feelings for him from him are more genuine, or they feel more genuine. And that if he was to blow, we don't know, but I could see him I feel like he would be more inclined.
He still probably wouldn't be as big, because obviously producers are more low-key anyway, but yeah.
I think she's more likely to kick him to the curb after making it big time than he would be to kick her to the curb if he made it big time.
Yeah.
But women are mad anyway, so.
Honestly.
So mad.
So, also, while I'm giving away spoilers, this is going to really upset you. Shauna went to find Maurice. Because, at this point, she's found out that he was secretly recording her and all of that.
Yeah.
So they, had an episode where they stopped talking a little bit. She went to find him. And she basically says to him, because he's saying, like, he has, like, a, those, a public defender, that's it. That's telling him to take a plea deal, which is, like, 15 months or whatever. And then she was saying, like, if you don't have much options, maybe you should do it. And she basically has offered to, like, hold him down and take care of him when he comes out, like, financially. And Chrissy, I rewound it and she said forever. I said forever.
Taking care of a man?
Forever?
That stinks.
You did not just say forever. Like, so what, he won't ever get a job? I'm confused. So I remember watching thinking, I know you feel bad, but why did we do that?
I think both of them can be a bit birdy. Yeah, they can be a bit birdy.
Because he's not even a man. Like, I don't understand.
You've just, like, what? I think also they haven't quite figured out what it is they actually want. Yeah, you want your music to pop off, great. But aside from that, what do you want? Who do you want to be?
I think Nia wants to get out of Miami. Like, she wants to get out of the hood.
Yes.
I think her vision is a little clearer in terms of
than
what
Shauna's.
I want from this.
Yeah.
I think Shauna is the one that's still confused. Because remember, she wasn't doing this sound before. And do you remember in the beginning of this series, you can tell she's a little bit uncomfortable with people being like, oh, like, you sold out and whatever. Like, it's almost like she's still not 100 with that switch up. She's happy that they're doing better. And I think she's happy to be with Mia as well and not be all by herself. But at the same time, I feel like she still hasn't 100% figured out where she wants to go as an artist.
Yeah. For both of them, it seems like they know that they want to be successful or they want to get out the hood.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't think there's much, or maybe it's the way like it's written as well. It doesn't seem to me like there's, I think it's actually more the writing. There's no real mention of, they want to make it, but okay, why? Like, she's not saying like, I have to get my daughter out the hood or I'm tired of living in a one bed. She just wants to get to the bag, and pop and blow. So it seems like they will do, and that shows actually that they will do anything and everything, because there's no real, they're not doing anything for the like advancement of the goal or their career or their dream no, because I sound like I'm contradicting myself. I don't feel like they're doing anything in particular towards their dream. Everything just seems to be like, we've got to make it, we've got to make it, we've got to make it, and not like, oh, I'm trying to have a #1 album or I'm trying to work with this
like
person.
Goals.
It's just, I need to get out of the hood.
Yeah.
And because they don't have that, or it doesn't seem like they have that vision, I feel like
That's
and
why
it does
they
show.
let people
It's
like Francois take advantage of them. Yeah.
very higgy hagger, very wayward. There's no anything.
I actually don't understand why. For me, it's almost like they're getting dumber in a sense as opposed to learning more. It's really weird because Shauna's worked with Francois before. She's been screwed over by him before. So I do not understand why she's acting like he's someone that she can trust. Like, I just really don't understand it. And like, can we talk about Raina, the white girl, please? I've never been one of those women who particularly cares when white women get braids, but hers make me uncomfortable. Like, they're just so aggressive. I just look at them and I'm like, oh.
It's just typical Le Karen behaviour. Like, sis, calm down. You are a Caucasian woman.
Honestly.
You're not spicy white. You're just a Caucasian woman, and that's okay.
She has a lyric in one of her songs that says light skin with a. I'm like, you are white. You're not light skinned.
2 plus 2
white woman.
is making 24 right now. But it I think that emphasises the point or the frustration that a lot of people have in the music industry, that the closer you are to whiteness, the easier it is for people to take you in, or the more opportunities you have. And that's the same point, because she doesn't rap as good as them. She might look better in the sense that she's got more money behind her hair, makeup, her aesthetic, but she's not doing... There are a ton of black girls doing what she's doing is not amazing in any way, shape or form. She is just...
Because she's white, literally. And what I love about the show is that, for me, it unearths one of the main reasons why this is allowed to happen, because a black man is the one behind it. Like, it's like T.I. and Iggy all over again. Do you know what I mean? Like, Francois is the one who created.
Yeah.
I think that actually Rain is meant to be like a version of Iggy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, he's the one who created her. Because I rewatched like the first episode of season 1 just to get like a refresher. And Shauna mentioned that before she did rap music, she was doing like acoustic versions of rap songs, like on a guitar in a field somewhere. So I was like, so her sound was totally different basically before he just randomly found this white girl and decided to turn her into this this very offensive display.
Very offensive.
And try and make a bag of it. But anyway.
Calling the black girl sis, the way the bonnet, like, just...
I don't know, I'm not your sis, firstly.
I think everyone knows of someone like that, as in whether it's like an Iggy Azalea or someone in any type of industry who just has a bit more cachet because of the colour of their skin or the shade of their skin. And it's sad that that's the way it is, but that is the way it is.
Do you remember the second episode? Because I really want to talk to you about that, since we're on... you know, the privileges of the colour of your skin in the industry. I mean, period, really. But, you know, obviously this is about them being rappers. But, so the second episode where they're in that, remember they're on that tour with Lord AK?
Yeah.
And they go in his green room, trying to use it as an opportunity to network, but it's really just like groupies and their thirsty entourage.
Yeah.
And then they were playing that colorism game.
Yeah. Not the colorism game.
I mean, that's essentially what it was. Like that, oh my God, I was just... What got me was that how unnecessary it was, because you could have literally just taken the girls that you wanted on the tour bus. Like, there was no need for this.
Yeah.
You literally just did it to humiliate these girls.
Yeah.
And where he sprays Shauna with a bottle of champagne.
That was so unnecessary.
I was just like, everybody is mad. Everybody.
That's my catchphrase. Everybody's mad.
Because literally it was like, not just that actual moment, which was horrible enough. Afterwards, it was Duke blaming Shauna.
Yeah.
And then Mia being like, well, this has been fun, but deuces, I'm going to go. Something is about to fly me out. I said, pardon me?
Yeah.
Do you hate her? Like, do you want her dead? Because me personally, even if that wasn't even my friend, I would have to make sure she was okay. Like, that is just like, that's so much for someone to do that to you. Like, the humiliation of it, like the disrespect, like... It's just a lot, and the actual triggering of you know, treating you in that way because of the colour of your skin. Like, it's a lot. So I was just like, oh my God. But what did you think that they did that for? Like, what was that meant to... Was it just purely to demonstrate colorism in the industry, or was it kind of to showcase like kind of how you see other things going on in life in the hip hop industry now, where they're just so quick to say it's the woman's fault for everything? Yeah,
I think both. Like, two things can be true.
Yeah.
I think it definitely exposed the rife colorism in the music industry. I think this is, as recently as like last year or the year before, there was a situation with Chris Brown I think, where he wasn't, like, there was only a certain type of girl that he was letting into his section, blah, 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 blah. We know it happens.
Yeah.
Did I feel like it went a bit overboard? Yes. And also, I think, are people really going to understand, not are they going to understand what's going on, but Shauna's a light-skinned woman. So
yeah, she's not even dark.
She's not even
just because she was giving commentary about it. That's why he did that, yeah. So
it was a bit like... But I did think, yes, there's going to be an aspect of it that's like for dramatic effect. There we go. But it's stuff that happens, and I think there's loads of people that have seen that happen in, not even just in the music industry, in real life. You see that some people get preferential treatment, not even just because they're white, like we said about Rain, but because they are lighter and fit in with that more like Western beauty standard type thing. But I agree with you. They should like just pick the babes that you wanted to take on the bus. Why the humiliation? It was really just to make him feel, because I don't know what it is that man is going through, but you could see it from his first scene. Like, you are in pain. There is something wrong. Pain, like
here. Like, you need therapy. Like, because, you know, I think they were talking about how they just lost one of their friends who was doing mad coke. Like, it was just like, so it was like he was orchestrating that situation just so he could feel like good about himself in some way. I can't track why that makes you feel good to humiliate these girls, but yeah, like it was just a lot, man. And it was the fact that what's so weird is that I didn't really get the feeling that anyone else in his circle was as fucked up as him, but they still laughed along with it. They still didn't say anything or act like it was a big deal. Even this Courtney guy, it's never been mentioned. You know what I mean? Like, no one's ever brought it up as like, oh, that was like crazy that happened or whatever. It's just kind of something that was just brushed. I didn't even like the way that the next episode that Duke didn't even apologize. Like, I just felt like everybody literally blamed Shauna for what happened, and it literally, she was the victim. Like, it wasn't her fault.
Punching bag for the situation.
Honestly. But I do really like rap shit though. I love the show in general. But I always do wonder when I like to watch it and I tweet about it and stuff, why do you feel like it hasn't got the same reception as Insecure? Because obviously this is Issa Rae's new show on from there. It wasn't even that long after Insecure ended. And I didn't expect it to be as popular because obviously Insecure was very popular. Yeah. But still, like, I just feel like there's quite a huge contrast in the reception. I just wonder why that is.
I didn't watch Insecure.
Oh, you did? Oh, no. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
I keep on meaning to get around to it, but maybe over the Christmas break.
I do recommend. Yeah, it's on well, actually, it's on American Netflix, but if you have a VPN.
I'm sure I can find a way. But also, I don't think many people know about rap shit, because there's people that I've spoken to that didn't know that it existed. And I think I started, when I started watching it, I can't remember how I came across it, but I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But I think we also can't assume that it's going to have the same level of success that Insecure had, because that was a bit of a cult, or like a cultural...
For the culture kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that it was slightly different. Whereas this, having two aspiring women rappers that are trying to take on the highly misogynistic music industry. We've heard this story before. No matter which way you slice it, flip it, we've heard this is not an original story.
It's not an interesting enough concept that we're unaware of,
yes,
I guess.
And I think the writing would have to be so much better than it is to get people in, because... Yeah, this is something that we've heard before. Do you not love the writing then? Before. Not to say that I didn't love it. I think it was good, but I think I've got 2 episodes left to season 2, but it didn't grip me. It didn't grab me the way season 1 did.
I agree. I definitely get why you feel like that at the beginning of season 2, because I felt like it was very slow. I can't even, apart from that one thing that we talked about, the colorism game, I don't really remember much that happened. Like, obviously I do, because I know where the story went, but there's no real huge event that sticks out to me like that. So yeah, it definitely was a bit of a slow to start one.
Where I got to was the end of I've watched some of episode 7, episode 5, where someone's on fire.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for you to see. Like, this is where I question why they wrote certain things that way, because that was Lord AK. So he tried to kill himself, basically. But have you ever heard of someone trying to kill themselves by setting themselves on fire? So I really was just like, I just felt like that was such a crazy thing to throw in there. I'm like, and like overdose. He was on the roof even trying to jump. Like I don't know.
Anything.
It just sorry.
Yeah, just anything. But
do you know what I mean? Like I just that one just threw me because I've never heard of such. Like do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure people have done it, but it's not really the go-to.
Yeah, it seems quite.
It's almost like they kind of made it not comical because it wasn't funny, but it was like they kind of took the seriousness out of it by doing it like that because you're kind of left with the what the fuck factor.
Yeah, it's more like.
Yeah, like. What? Why?
Because I get that he was on drugs and stuff, but cocaine doesn't make people set themselves on fire.
And he was on a few. I think it was shrooms as well. Like, so he clearly is something
Yeah.
So I think, and in some of the stuff he was saying as well, you could tell he's also depressed. Honestly, a lot of them are going through it mentally. So it didn't surprise me that he was suicidal, but yeah, that is.
It just seems like a bit of a, and the way it was written in as well, like Mia's doing fucky, then it all. I think what they were going for is the crescendo and like this one party where everything happens and it was so crazy, but in trying to do that, I feel like they've also done too much for that episode, for that scenario. There's so much happening at one time. It's a bit like
I think they just needed a way to cut off the tour, but you know, not like that is all I would say.
Yeah.
The next episode as well, interestingly enough, starts off with like a fake male podcast set. And they were like, oh my God, like, it's not even that bad. Like, Tupac, like, when he performed, like, hit it up, like, 3 days after he came back from the hospital and he got shot how many times? Da, da, da. You know, them, like, ignorant, like, type of podcast. Like, saying it's the Illuminati, it's a sacrifice. I was just like, you know what's so funny? This is a joke, but this is real. This is exactly the type of podcast that we have commentary on, like, topics like this. But yeah, no, I do hear what you were saying, though, in terms of, like, a lot of people not hearing about the show as well.
Yeah.
Because that is very true, to be fair. It's only really because I am interested in female rap music, and I don't like to say female rap music, but just to differentiate it. And I remember seeing her say that she was going to start writing a show based on City Girls. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to like bookmark that to check out. So it's only because I intentionally was like keeping an eye out that I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So if it weren't for that, maybe I wouldn't even know either. So yeah, that's a good point, to be fair. I wonder why. You would think that her, just off of the back of having such a successful show, whatever she does next, whatever network it's on, they would have an interest in trying to push it as much as possible. It doesn't seem like it.
Yes, but I think the networks or the platforms that it's on also makes a big difference because it's not on Netflix, it's not on Now.
It's on HBO.
It's on HBO.
Yeah.
In this cost of living crisis, I think people are just a bit more conscious about what they have because everything is a paid for platform now. Netflix, Hulu, Now TV, Disney, like everything.
Yeah,
so you do have to be a bit more selective.
Yeah.
And I think with other shows, you tend to find that you can find them on one or two platforms, not necessarily just the one.
The one, true.
And HBO is predominantly American as well. We don't really, yes, you can get HBO over here, but can you?
No, we get like some things that are basically, if something is on HBO, it will be like halfway through the season or towards the end of the season that we'll get it in the UK.
Yeah, fine. It's not a network that's really pushed here in the UK.
Yeah, it's not, no.
And I can understand them wanting to see the success of it first, and you're not going to understand that in 1 or 2 seasons. I think maybe if it gets to season 3 and it really, really, really kicks off and you have more people from the UK that are trying to find it and tweeting about it and Instagram, etc., then I can understand them wanting to make the financial decision to push more money into this kind of market. But we're in like an echo chamber. Everyone's in their own little bubble. And yes, Insecure was fantastic, or what people have said about it anyway. But that doesn't necessarily translate into anything else that Issa Rae does being successful. It's like how someone can drop an album and it can be the sickest thing in the world, and then they hit their second album and you're a bit like, could have left this in the drafts.
This fell flat.
So I really do hope that it gets more traction, because then there'll be more budget that goes into the writing and the everything else. But you have to take what I'm going to say with a pinch of salt because I haven't finished watching it. But off the back of season 2, I would understand if it didn't get the push it needed, because I don't think season 2 was the follow-up that we needed. How it should have been different, or how it could have been different, I don't know. No, I do know. I think seeing some of the plots through just a bit more and
I think they could have done more in the first
people,
half, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like now we know who these characters are, blah, blah, blah. What, just like we spoke about earlier, what is Mia's goal? What does she want? What is she doing this for? We know that Shauna, we're not even quite sure what Shauna's vision is because she was doing the like conscious rap and
and now she's kind of, even though she's still focused on the music, she's also worried about going to jail. So you can tell her mind is not 100% there either. So it's like, it's
just
confusing.
a bit here and there. Like, are we making Lamont more? I think where Lamont is a bit of a crutch. I think his character is like a reference point. He's Mia's daughter's dad, and he can give them beats every once in a while. But okay, is he in the show or is he not? If you know what I mean, like, is he a main character or is he not? The way his story's been left is a bit like...
when you compare him to the other main characters, I guess, true.
So he's got quite a... I know you can be like a secondary main character, but even then, I think, for me, for the characters, I think they lack depth. They focus more on the excitement of the characters or what's happening than understanding them. But I think when you feel like you know a character better, it's easier to understand. I don't know if that's self-explanatory, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's easier to understand why certain characters would have made certain decisions if you understand them a bit more.
Because I don't even really understand why Shauna scammed. Like, I do.
Yeah, she needed money, but like... Yeah. Oh, her parents cut her off, I think she said.
But didn't they cut her off? Oh, yeah, maybe they did cut her off before then. Yeah, because they were not happy to see her.
But then it's like, okay, we still don't know why she... Maybe they did say why she got cut off, I can't remember. But what I mean is, we don't understand what the dynamic is of her family. And was she a rich girl? And like... It
didn't seem like her family were like in a bad financial situation. It seemed like they were pretty well off.
This is it. So just understand... I'm not saying they need to go back into her childhood and everything else, but I think...
Like, she's not in the same situation as Mia.
Absolutely not.
Financially, so...
And it's difficult to just pinpoint who... Actually, they did have a little bit with Duke where... I think when they bucked up with that racist lady who was gonna
shoot them. Yeah.
See, even that
was so. That scene, like, I got it because obviously the woman trying to act like they were aggressive but still crying like the victim when you're the one holding the gun. Like, obviously we knew what that was about, but it was about like this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like sometimes maybe the comedic writing goes a little bit too far where they put too much humor in certain serious situations, so then it kind of falls flat because it's like, I don't even know how to what to think about that, and I know what that is. So imagine if I'm someone watching that doesn't even really...
It doesn't compute.
Do you know what I mean? Know these kinds of things like that. So it's like, okay, I guess we kind of made an unserious moment out of that. And then same thing with the Lord AK thing, and it's like, and even when they're talking about it, it's like, oh yeah, it's horrible and everything, but it's like, you lot really make that guy burn himself up. Like, I'm still trying to figure out why.
What was the point?
We did that. Yeah.
What was the point? Did he die or did he survive?
No, he's apparently in a coma.
Like,
and then it's like, remember, we've only got one episode left of the season, so it's like, not being funny, but why have you even introduced this character to us like this? Because we still don't really know him, but now half of the series, the plot, there's a big part of the plot is that he's in a coma, he's not around. It's
just very weak. It's focused more on excitement rather than depth, and I think when you continuously do that, people will be able to pick find holes in the plot, in the storyline.
Which is so annoying, because I do ultimately still enjoy it. Like, I'm definitely wanting a season 3, but I definitely agree with you that in some areas they could have worked. Like, I definitely didn't feel like there was much character development or progression, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I get that as artists, new artists, they're going to go into this place where they kind of make mistakes and figure out what not to do. And like, so it's not necessarily that there's something wrong with them being a little bit all over the place, but it's just that, you know, like, we're still really trying to figure out what the end goal is here, like you said, career-wise. And I just didn't understand why it felt like they were going backwards more than forwards. Like, how have you... like, this would be more understanding if this was Shauna's attitude in season 1 and then because season 2, she was so suspicious and wary of him when she met up with Francois again. So it didn't make any sense that all he had to do was say sorry one time for you to be like, oh, well, that's in the past. Like, especially when you can see that he's still doing it. Like, the way he was treating them. By the way, I don't know if you remember, but they're like old high school friends. Like, he knows her. So the fact that he had you in that like horrible motel and stuff like that, he was treating you in that way.
Ew.
Did you remember?
Ew. Because
That would have been a wrap for me. I'm so sorry. I can't stay there.
sorry,
I'm not staying there.
let's be for real.
What do you think a sheets in the place like that are saying? Like,
I would never know. I would not hang around. There are some times in life where you just have to hold your head high and say, I'm better than this. I'm actually better than this. Like, what?
Oh my God.
No.
One of them said it would be better if we slept on the tour bus. I said, I think you should sleep on the tour bus.
It really...
I really do.
Because why is the carpet waterlogged? That's weird. It just, no. It was a big fat no from me. You don't... And I know that some of that will be true to life in that when you're... Well, I've heard anyway, that when people are aspiring artists or when you're starting up in your career, things aren't going to be... It's not going to be
Rosy,
like the Hilton and the Four Seasons and the Dorchester. It's not going to be like that from day one.
But there can be a meet in the middle.
There
like,
can be,
we would have to be here. Like.
And also respect. Like, if that man respected you,
This is the
he
thing.
wouldn't have put you there.
Exactly.
Even if you all have to hitch up in one bed in a travel lodge somewhere, that's better than whatever that was.
Yeah.
Like, respect yourselves and other people will respect you. But just like how you were saying that Mia needs to just mind her pussy a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little.
It's kind of like that. Like, ladies, let's just...
Yeah, because I don't like to say that
in.
because it should be a situation where she can do what she wants and as a single woman and fuck who cares about it. But ultimately, you get to a point where you just know there's a way to move as a woman and you know how it's going to look and how people are going to treat you and, you know, it's just long. It's just easier not to, basically.
I just think, like, in that situation, her sleeping with who she wants to sleep with isn't the issue, but it's like you have a goal here and surely you should have enough sense to know that with what you're doing, if it goes wrong, this has the opportunity to really impact the progress.
It's because they're all in the industry.
This
like,
is it.
Her baby dad's a producer, 2 rappers. Like,
This is it.
It's messy.
Now they're beefing in the party.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like...
By the way, I didn't even understand why she was trying to explain anything to him. This was the same guy that looked you dead in your eye and said, yeah, I posted it, and what?
Because I wanted to. Police will have to come and
I
pack
was
us from
going to
here.
say,
What?
like, oh my God.
Crazy.
I don't know if I could not react violently to that because what? How do you mean?
And then I was Bird, but he's claiming it. Stand up. Stand up.
This is what I'm saying. I didn't feel like she was that much of a bird in season 1, so I'm very confused as to what's going on here. Like, I feel like she's getting a bit carried away. Like, I don't think because remember in the first season, I don't know if you remember, but when they went to New York and she was out there with some guy that was like, you know, a fan of her OnlyFans, and then she ended up having to leave that hotel because he came in with a friend or whatever.
Why do I vaguely remember this?
Yes, that's what happened last season. And that was, at the time, it seemed like an unfortunate situation. Like, I was like, yeah, technically it was a little bit, you know, dangerous to go out there and meet a stranger, but you wouldn't necessarily think that he's going to randomly walk in with his friend.
Yeah.
Like, that escalated quickly kind of thing. But then now where this is happening in season 2, I'm like, babes, I feel like you're getting excited at the prospect of, hey, I'm going to run game on all these men. I'm going to get... But I feel like you actually don't know how to do... Like, you haven't got the smarts like that for that because you can't see where situations can be potentially messy or maybe not so recommendable. You know?
Don't recommend.
Maybe just not do that, you know? Because I think that there was nothing wrong with her going to see the guy in New York, but you shouldn't have had a... I don't know. Like, I feel like if it's someone you haven't met before... You shouldn't stay in a room where they have access to come in wherever. Like, that's just for me. I wouldn't be comfortable. But yeah, but I do like rap shit. Just before we get off of it though, quickly, because you mentioned Duke. The irony of her being called Chastity. I love it. But yeah, what do you think of her? Because I actually, apart from that episode 2 where she blamed Shauna, I do really like Duke.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I liked that they went into her backstory a bit more, and she was talking about how her, I think she said her uncle got her involved. Just
it makes sense now. I'm like, because I was thinking
sense.
you also seem quite like sensitive. Like, how did you become a pimp? Like, so that makes sense now.
I like that they gave just a bit more backstory to her, which then, just like we said about the other 2 characters, or the lack of, because we have more of an understanding about where she's come from, who she is, like what's led up to this, it makes certain things just make a bit more sense, and you can understand why she's a sensitive pimp and why she's so determined to like make it. When Shauna was saying that she's broke and she's only got $12, and Duke was like, I can make $12 work. She's like, I have been broke.
broke.
So you can understand why. she's such a hustler and so determined to, by any means necessary, even if it means like her Googling the pictures of people who.
I didn't even think that was that bad.
No, it was smart.
No, like as in, you know, when the girl caught her, like, oh, is this me? I was like, is it that deep? Is she good?
Yeah,
you?
lady,
girl.
But yeah, I think good character. I understand a bit more about who she is and why she's the way she is. I just wish that for the other characters they would have had the same as well.
I know, yeah, no, I do agree with that. There's more depth to her character. And I hope that they don't decide to stop fucking with her like Francois wants them to.
Yeah.
And go in her direction, because I'm not going to give you any more spoilers, but it looks like, to me, she's going to secure a nice deal for them by the looks of it. And Francois, I just don't trust that guy.
I don't think he's going to go. With the way this has been written, I think what will happen is that it's going to all fall through for Francois, and then Duke's going to make it work somehow, some way. We don't know if Sean's going to end up in prison or not, but I think what will happen is that Mia has that coming to Christ moment where she realizes that Duke is the only person that's like truly looking out for her.
I agree, that will definitely happen, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Kind of like a predictable, happy ever after kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't have much hope or faith that something dramatic is going to happen, but I do hope that they leave it in a way that makes sense for a season 3.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Like, I really do, but also not in an obvious kind of way. Like, to be continued.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm a bit let down by this season, so I don't have the highest hopes. Yeah. But would still.
Let me know how
watch.
You feel when you do catch up.
Yeah.
Because for me, the last 2 episodes, I felt like perked me up. I was like, oh, now this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see how you feel about those last 2. I guess last 3 once the new episode comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely like the fact that I don't know whether Shauna's going to go to jail or not, because I assumed the whole way that she would. But then in the last episode where she said she will hold him down, why, I don't know. But when she said that made me think, oh, maybe she won't go to jail then, because I think that they're definitely going to want us to see. Because you're going to regret that. Firstly, 15 months is not even that long. Imagine if he doesn't even do the full 15 months and this nigga's out in 6 months asking for your money that you promised him forever for some reason.
Birds. Just being bird brains. Like the whole season. Just, sis, turn it on. Turn it on. Good luck to all of them.
Sorrows, prayers, child. Oh, Lord. But anyway, speaking of rap shit, let's talk about some actual rap shit now for a hot minute.
Of course.
So, Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday 2. So, like I said, I did listen to the last episode of Off the Cuff. So, firstly, I just want to say, you saying that Nicki has nothing upstairs but ops and orgasms took me the fuck out. I was like, not ops and orgasms. I am done.
I just be saying stuff. That, for me, was the big theme.
But your critique was exactly the same as mine, basically, with Nicki's album. I was like, I listened to the whole thing Friday morning it came out, and at the end of it, I was just like, this was bad.
It was bad.
Like, this was just not a good album.
I think off the cuff, I was really clear about saying, I know that people can take my opinion with a pinch of salt because I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. However, what I am a fan of is good music. That wasn't good music. There were a couple of tracks on there that I enjoyed, but I didn't understand what the story was for this album. Like, what is the theme?
Yeah.
Like, what's the
what
core? What are the core
achieve?
concepts of this? She's rapping about her coochie. She's rapping about guns, and she's got hitters, and she's had a son. Apart from that, because you can't talk about.
Why does she always throw in a bar about how she married a gangster or she married a kid? I'm like,
so that man is a registered sex offender,
and he's so corny as well. Like, he's not giving what you think he's giving. So every time she raps a bar like that, I get so much secondhand embarrassment for her.
When you get, there's so many times over the past couple of weeks, I have been so shy on behalf of Onika Maraj. Because that stream that she did with Kai Cenat, I was so shy for her.
Oh my God,
shy.
we'll get on to that. I'm so glad that you brought that up.
So shy.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. Okay, well, let's table that for a second, because I definitely want to ask you about that as well. 'Cause a lot went down with this rollout and Nicki Minaj drama in general. Surprise, surprise. But where it comes to the actual album, I definitely agree with you. Like, in terms of like, there was no like growth or progression from Onika Maraj, who we know from Pink Friday. Like, I get that this was a sequel, so she tried to kind of keep with the tone of Pink Friday, but Number one, I don't like it when rappers that we know for rapping sing for most of their albums. It really bugs me. And that was like literally 75% singing.
Dislike all the songs that I dislike most from Nicki Minaj are the ones where she is singing.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a huge fan of her singing songs.
Whole career. I don't like it.
I like her rap, and I like her like properly rapping as well.
Nicki,
like,
she can rap.
Throwaway rap. Yeah, exactly.
She can rap. Like, we absolutely cannot take that away from her.
Yeah.
But this album, I think it was disappointing in terms of being a sequel or part two. The rollout was disappointing and scary.
Yeah, she's lucky that they had Gag City to help her, because I actually did. That was the first time I said to myself, you know, it's actually nice to see the Barbs not being crazy for a week.
They're
and just
so crazy.
Engaging and fun. Like, do you know what I mean?
It was really wholesome.
Yeah, it was. Like, I was like, you know what? You lot, it would be nice if you would stay like this, but I know it's not going to happen. But but yeah, like, that was a really, really good, like, I guess, unofficial campaign for her, because it brought so much. I remember I saw Miss Banks and, like, a couple other rappers tweeting about it. I was like, what are they talking about? And then I had to look for it. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is really, really... And they had, like, influencers and like content creators where they make AI versions of them entering Gag City. I was like, this is really cool.
I mentioned it on the pod as well. In terms of what the fans did, you can't pay for that level of marketing.
Facts, yeah.
It's not a campaign that someone can create that would have that level of success. I think there are some things that have to happen organically, and that was one of them.
Yeah,
so definitely have to give it to them. Those pictures were everywhere. I had like global brands, small brands, people, like everybody.
And it was very aesthetically pleasing as well. Really beautiful, yeah.
Considering
I was like, I love this.
Considering lots of different people had their input, as a whole, it was so, like, I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's just such a massive shame that that's what they were going so hard for. Yeah. But that was also one of the reasons that I listened to it, because the marketing was everywhere. I had no. The guys on the pod always get onto me, because I won't listen to something if I don't want to listen to it. So they'll be having their music talk, and I'll be like, I didn't listen to it. But I thought I really want to get involved.
And I'm glad you did, because I don't think that they would have had such a long critique about it if you hadn't listened to it. So
it just didn't give what it was supposed to give. Yeah. And I haven't been enjoying her music for a while now. Anyway.
To be honest, she's never been an album artist for me anyway. I personally never get more than a few songs from a project that I like, but I've never really minded that too much, because I've liked the songs that I like enough. Yeah. So it didn't, and I actually really liked Queen as well, which surprised me. Like, when I first listened to it, I was like, yeah, this is all right, but it actually grew on me a lot, and I still go back to a lot of the songs on there. So I think I had my hopes a little bit higher than they usually would be, because of that being her last album. Yeah. So when I heard this, I was like, oh. And it also made me think, sorry, because I just gave the Barbs a compliment, but I think that this is where having such, like, passionate standship that will appreciate anything she does, I feel like this is where it doesn't help her as an actual artist, because she's lowered the bar. Yeah. That is not a good project. Like, the songs itself, outside of her actual delivery, are not good, the majority of them. And a lot of them, like, there was only 2 or 3 songs I could say she's going off. Like, the rest of it was very lazy for
TikTok
her.
songs.
Like, lazy. I was just like, and this is what, like a 22 song, I think, album? How can all of it be trash? Like, no offense, but like, and I really like Barbie Dangerous, and I like Falling For You. Those are my 2 songs. And that Everybody song, I don't love it, but I know it's going to make a great workout song. So when I start going to the gym again, I feel like I might like that song better.
I like that song as a snippet. Yeah. You know, when you see it on someone, that's a gift and a curse, because I don't think artists should be making... When you listen to that, you know what that song is for. That's not to chart, if you know what I mean, or to please the fans. That is...
To get the TikTok dances. And
to get the numbers... Fine. I like that snippet as that, but listening to the whole song, I was like, this actually makes my brain itch.
You would never, outside of the gym, it's not a song you would listen to. Like, it's just, it's too much. I don't know what it is. It just feels like too much hyperactivity on one song for me. I don't know how to describe it, but it just feels like a lot going on.
The samples felt lazy.
The girls just want to have fun one bugged me. Because I was like, what's this for? Just to remind us how great Cyndi Lauper is on that song? Because that's all it's doing.
What was the one at the beginning with Billie Eilish?
Something. Are you something? Something lonely?
You know.
Sorry, I know it's on the intro.
I like that
yeah.
Billie Eilish, and I'm just like, okay, I can understand if you've just lifted. That's like when someone says, "Copy my homework, but make it different."
But make it, yeah.
Lady, did you try? Did you try? I know that she also came under fire because she was selling the vinyls as
Yes.
They said that the vinyls wouldn't count towards her sales.
Yeah.
Because the vinyls only had 10 songs of the 22 on there, so it's not actually the album.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's something
why that
different.
they removed the competition? Because she counted the vinyls. Because basically Billboard said they were going to take away 100,000 of her sales because of the contest she was running with the Barbs, and which basically she said that they should buy the album 4 times, whether it be digital downloads or whether it be physical copies, and she included the vinyls in that. And and once you've done it, send me screenshots and you're in with a chance to win this competition.
Yeah.
So they said that she can't do that, basically. So is that because she was complaining that why can't I do it if other people have been able to do similar contests, blah blah blah. Maybe this is why then. If the vinyls were a part of that and the vinyls don't actually count as an album, maybe that's why then.
I also did hear what they said about her having people buy multiple versions.
Yes, that they shouldn't be doing that, which I agree, because that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, because
yeah,
like what?
Like as in Barb's like encouraging each other to like remove the album and keep buying it, and it's like you can't.
Like, that's not. It's skewing the numbers because if you have 100,000 sales, the premise there is that 100,000 people have listened to your music.
Yeah,
bought your music.
If it's the same people over and over again, it doesn't.
Especially because when we look at the charts, it's you want to look at reach and popularity. The reach and popularity is going to be very different if 100,000 individual people have bought it compared to if 50,000 people have bought it twice. Do you know what I mean? Or oh my God, maths, please.
Yeah, I know, no, trust me. I'm not even following you because I'm so bad at maths, so don't worry about it.
I tried so hard. That makes more sense. But she's just a scary babe.
Honestly.
She's always frightened me a little bit.
She's a bit of an eerie person, isn't it? Because it's like, I almost sometimes wonder if, like, you know, this act she plays, like this like character that she's always in. I'm like, I wonder if this is actually who you just moved into, like, because I always just assume you take that off when you go home. But are you actually just like this? Like,
yeah, I think she is actually just like that, like just a bit.
Maybe that's why she fits in with the Kai Cenats or whatever. So you didn't agree that, because this was one of the times where when I saw Elliot Wilson and what he said about like hip hop journalism, did you see that? Mm-mm. Oh, so basically like, obviously, as you've seen clips of her on Kai's live stream, and Elliot retweeted it or commented on it saying hip hop journalism, basically salty that Nicki's not making the rounds on like platforms like his and other hip hop journalists, and she's going to like content creators like Kai. I was like, I can understand them feeling some type of way if that's like literally her replacing it for interviews. But at the same time, I'm not mad at her going to new content creators because she's also taking a picture with that funny Marco guy. Yeah. So I'm like, I feel like that's just where we're at now with the media. It's just changed a little bit. Like you do have to pay attention to, you know, the more different content creators that are maybe younger and not as versed in hip hop or music like that. But it, you know, helps in terms of in terms of marketing in general. So I wasn't necessarily mad at that, but I think you feel something different.
My gripe with that, her going on the stream is one thing because when Offset did the Kai Cenat stream, I enjoyed that, or the bits that I saw. It was quite just light-hearted fun. It seemed like an older brother and a younger brother just having fun, just having a good time. With Nicki, she is someone that strikes me as someone who's very hungry for attention, just likes the attention to be on her. And there were just certain things like she's twerking, she's got her legs open.
I don't know why
I'm like, this is a very young. He's so young.
I think that's why, because it's a bit of a young crowd.
He's so
and you're like grown.
You're like 40 something.
Yeah, so it was a bit okay.
And just, it's not her going to Kai. It's her behaviour when she was on there.
Okay.
Because you're right, things change now. Whereas people previously would have had their official sit-downs with Oprah and all the rest of it. Now it is definitely more digestible content. Funny Marco.
I like him.
I love
really
his
like
interview
his stuff,
stuff. The way we consume media has changed, so that is understandable that we're not just going to have like traditional news outlets anymore. We're going to have these platforms.
Yeah.
But you are a big grown woman that you show up 4 hours late. I don't even care about that. But
oh, was she late?
Apparently she was supposed to be on at 11 and didn't get there till 3.
Oh, God. She was always late as well. I guess a lot of people are, but yeah, I remember even when I listened to Queen Radio, sometimes they'd just be playing the DJ set for time because she's not there. I'm just like, girl, how you late to your own show?
You're on to this, the following that Kai Cenat has. I think it's safe to assume that they're going to be quite young as well.
Yeah.
So who is all of this for? Like, you haven't actually spoken about the album. Let me not say she didn't, because I didn't watch the whole thing, but I didn't see any clips that were speaking about the album. Or
they played songs, obviously, but yeah, I didn't hear her
she mentioned Pink Friday Perfume a few times.
Okay.
It was just like, what's the purpose? What's the aim here? And if you know that his audience is young, do you think this is appropriate?
This is true.
Like,
and also, if, like, I always wonder as well who the Barbs are, because it sounds like a lot of them are young. But then I'm like, but Nicki's been out for a while now. So who is going to be, I don't think any young people like that really like as in would care that much about her music, put it that way, as in like young fans. So even though I'm sure some of them are Barbs or people that like her music, is it going to be received in the same way as it would be if she was on a platform that wasn't just tailored towards younger people, basically?
I just think that because her fan base are so unhinged, that wherever she goes, they will follow with no real, no real pushback. As do you know, you can like your fave, you can love your fave, support them, but still accept and call out when something that they do is a bit sideways. Like the Beyonce, the Renaissance movie in Israel. I love Beyonce.
And a lot of people call Beyonce out for that.
But I can still be like, girl,
come on.
I don't like that. Fine. But I feel like a lot of her, let me not even say fans, it's the stands that will just ride with her until the wheels fall off. But that's also
because there's definitely Nicki Minaj fans that wanted to see more from her, because people have been giving her that same critique album after album that she doesn't really say anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we know you're talented, we get that, but we really don't know that much about your feelings on things. Like, and she does have 1 or 2 lines every now and again, if you're listening, that you'll catch 1 or 2, but it's like, why don't you have at least 2 songs on your album where you're really bearing all? Do you know what I mean? Like, have that raw moment.
Lines. This is the part 2. There's so much that's happened in your life. You've become a mother. Married that weirdo. There's I feel like as an artist, there are ways that you can talk about your real life experience without giving everything. Because
I get that she doesn't want to talk about him because she knows we hate him. But
exactly,
at the same time, there's ways of talking about your experience and marrying him and feeling like maybe everybody holds you responsible for what he did. Like, do you know what I mean? Talk about that.
Anything.
Do you know what I mean? There's angles that you can go with it.
I think she also comes across as someone who has quite a nasty spirit as well.
Yeah, mean girl energy for sure.
Which doesn't...
Because even like the shots that she takes on the album, like to be fair for her, like in terms of like specifics where it comes to subs, I feel like she actually was trying to not be as much of Nicki Minaj as usual, but like, you know, she took a shot at Lato, she took a shot at Megan. And the Megan one was so unnecessary because Megan didn't do anything to you. Like, she actually didn't do anything to you.
She's so scary.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
so
when I see her take shots at Megan about this whole Tory thing, I'm like, you're literally inserting yourself to make fun of this girl for being shot.
Why would you do that? Why would you actually do that? You scary person.
Like, it's
just leave her alone.
And do you see her inserting herself now where Cardi and Offset are going through it? Did you see she posted that meme? And I was like, see, this is why people call you a mean girl, because what have Cardi and Offset situation got to do with you? It has nothing to do with you,
lady.
So it was just so unnecessary.
Your husband can't be around your child.
That's why Cardi said, take your man to a park and leave me alone. I cackled when I read that.
It's just
because you cannot talk about anybody's man. Like, you literally can't do it. Like, you can't.
Like, it's just the delusion and the unnecessary it's not even just pettiness at the moment because by and large, Cardi just leaves that lady alone, and she just.
This is the thing,
and it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like that happens with everyone that Nicki goes against.
Yeah.
Like,
that they're not really actually doing anything to her like that.
Yeah.
But she feels the need to.
Oh, you worked with that person, or you took a picture with that person.
Basically, that's what it is. They're all like, none of them are on that. Essentially, unless you're gonna lick her ass like the Akbars and them, man, that, you know,
So scary.
and not being funny, but they don't really be working, like their careers are not doing what like the Beers and that they're not in the same spaces as them because they've made that choice.
Yeah.
Because they're cutting themselves off from women that Nicki don't like. So because they won't do those same things, Nicki is now mad at them. It's like, why are you internalizing that as something they are doing to you? They don't have any investment in whatever this beef is with Cardi. Like, why would they not work with her? Like, she's basically, that's why she doesn't like Meg, because she did what? And it's just like, why would she not? Like, I don't understand.
I don't. But you know what? You can't make sense out of nonsense.
You really can't.
That is the black bottom line there. I think this whole drama that she's inserted herself in with Cardi and Offset, it's just spiteful, mean-spirited. This lady is very clearly hurting. Like, I saw one of the clips. She's in severe pain.
I almost was like emotional for her because you could just hear the hurt in her voice. Like, she's so tired. She's so. I really do hope she leaves Offset. I can't lie. 'Cause I don't think he's ever stopped cheating on her.
No.
Personally. Like, I feel like that's just the situation.
But people can change, blah, blah, blah. But that man has how many children by how many women? And you thought you were going to... Oh, sorry. Sorry.
And it interested me as well where she said that she's been helping him for years without as much of a thank you. Does she mean like career-wise, I wonder? Because obviously Cardi at this point is a bigger artist than him. So
from the like bits and pieces I read, her frustration is that when they met, she was definitely the bigger artist, and that she's helped catapult his career, and when it comes, do you remember that was it VMAs where he
brought the flowers?
He had like a choreography type situation. And he was, what award show was it?
Like, were they performing together?
No, it was just him.
Okay.
And he had a whole, like, there was choreography and there was like stage design and stuff like that. And I think they've spoken about helping him elevate his kind of performance. I vaguely remember.
It wasn't like a Michael Jackson theme one, was it? No. They didn't start doing Michael Jackson stuff.
At the penthouse, Miami Beach. I did this. What is that song? Clout?
It's so like the snake. Yeah, that is
Clout. I think maybe they did perform together actually.
Yeah, that's their song.
And he has helped. She has helped him with just a bit of artistry and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I can understand the frustration of feeling like I helped build you, and I'm not even asking for anything in return, but then you're just going to cheat on me. That's
Did you see what it might be that she's upset about?
This Chrissy? Oh no, wait, hold on.
Well,
the girl that took Pardi to court.
Yes.
On her
birthday party. So basically, one of the girls that Cardi almost caught a case for, who was allegedly sleeping with Offset back then, was at his birthday party, which was just a couple of days ago. You see how niggas will embarrass you? Like, how you have this bitch at your birthday party? I felt like that was so disrespectful.
You know
like, why? For what? Like, I just really don't like it when people like violate their partners in that way. Like, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. Obviously, it would be preferable if you weren't sleeping with her, but you could have even done it silently and like, do you know what I mean? Discreetly. But having her at your birthday party is like a public disrespect to your wife.
You want to embarrass me in public?
Like,
wow.
Seriously.
You want me dead. You want me dead. It's a tough one because love is a very complicated thing. It can be painful at times, as much as it can be like fulfilling and enriching and everything else. Like, love is hard. That being said, I just feel like sometimes you just have to take your L's in silence. If you're going to be so vocal about this man, I don't think she should have done that live. I feel like there would have been more power in her. Put it in the group chat. Talk to your friends. Do a group FaceTime. But again, it's a tough one because your fans want to know. You want to feel like you connect with your fans and they know who you are and you want to share.
And it could have even been a situation where she was on live already and maybe found out while she was on live and it just kind of like,
I don't have a clue.
I'm not sure because obviously it was a snippet from a live that she
Yeah.
was ready. So it could have been that, but yeah.
I feel
I
for
never
her.
recommend, showing your emotional woes like that in public
Listen,
to strangers. So.
if I'm going through it, best believe I'm not tweeting. Like,
Yeah.
I actually I put my phone down when I'm going through it. Because one
Exactly.
thing, there's nothing worse than the secondhand embarrassment that you get from yourself when you look back on a tweet or an Instagram post and you say, hey,
Just cringe and
I'm
say that.
shy for myself. But I really hope that she heals from this,
Yeah,
because
me too.
it can't be nice, and then the whole world is in it, and then you've got people like Nicki
and
acting.
Agbar even jumping in. I'm like,
It's
why
just
are you lot
it's
here?
just a lot. Like,
this is what I
dogpiling.
don't like. Like, it's just so unnecessarily bitchy. Like, why are you laughing at another woman's pain? No, let me ask about Offset and Cardi first. So Offset and Cardi, do you feel like that's it? Like, do you feel like, because they always break it up and get back together. She's filed for divorce before. I do think that she's had moments where she wants to leave him, but she has kids with him. After they begged like 17,000 times, they just give in. But like, the pain in her voice made me wonder, because I don't feel like they'll last forever. I think there will be a breaking point eventually, and I do wonder if this is it, because I feel like if I were Cardi, it'll come to a point where I'm like, I can actually go out and get a new man. Like, I actually don't have to part with this.
I don't have to deal with this.
I really don't. Like,
and she's rich. She's not,
exactly.
She doesn't have to deal with it from a financial aspect.
Exactly.
She doesn't have to deal with it in the sense that I'm pretty sure there would be men lining up to drink her bathwater.
That part.
I get that. She doesn't need it because she doesn't have to stay with him because he is their father. Because again, she's rich, so she will be able to. I'm not saying that there's a monetary substitution for having your father around, but other things. Part of the reasons that people want, part of the benefits of having a 2-parent household will be things like childcare and pickups and that kind of aspect. But because she has money, she can buy that kind of support in terms of like nannies and after school clubs and all the rest of it. So her quality of life doesn't have to change drastically, because she could also just bring the kids with her when she's going to wherever she's going. Like, the access that money gives you
is different.
Yeah. So she doesn't actually have to deal with this, but it comes back down to love. Like, she feels that she's invested so much into this relationship with this man, and they have kids together now. It was interesting. I read something somewhere that said when she wanted to leave him the last time, it was her dad that was like, "Hey girl,
I saw that. Yeah,
there aren't good men outside."
Why do people do that? Like, I'm leaving this person for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you trying to? I really don't like when people do that.
Because people can get caught up on the, like, there's no men outside, or think of the children. But why are we staying in a situation that is toxic?
This is what I'm saying. If someone is saying they want to leave a relationship because it's not serving me, or I'm unhappy in this, or this is making me upset, why are you convincing them to stay?
Because the children. I'm sorry, respectfully,
Like,
fuck them kids.
They'll be all right.
gotta
Like,
go.
seriously, like when people say like, oh, for the kids will always be fine.
They will be fine.
Like,
they will not be the first children to grow up in a single parent household,
Exactly.
or with co-parenting parents. Like,
There's
they
no
won't
reason
be the
why
first, they won't be the last.
they won't be much better in a situation where they know their parents are unhappy anyway. So like, why are we doing
Bringing
this?
that toxic energy just
Honestly.
in the house as well. No. Good luck to all of them, Cha.
Honestly, good luck to them, child. I do hope she leaves them though. But with regards to Nicki and Cardi, so I have seen a few fans that are kind of, and I feel like these are probably not Barbs or like, I guess, Pardi gang, probably just people that, like me, that meet in the middle, that like, are a fan of both of their music. I think they're kind of getting tired of this beef now, because at this point it's been years, and what is this actually over? Because you were upset that Cardi was the new big woman on the scene, essentially. Like, babes, let's get over that. At the end of the day, nobody fucked anybody's man, nobody stole anybody's money. Like, why do we have to be beefing to this extent? Like,
I think if they're not going to fight, pack it in.
At this point, let's wrap it up.
Send the location or pack it up. Like, they
Send the addy.
one of the two. Like, this whole back and forth, and it's just sad because it seems like it's Nicki that's perpetuating it.
Yeah,
you don't want to fight, lady. Like,
because
you don't, just
like
let
Cardi
it go.
really don't like. Obviously, they both take shots at each other in their songs. That's what female rappers do in general. But outside of it, wherever it's like real life situations, like social media or whatever, it's always Nicki that starts it. Like, the Cardi never unprovoked just sends for that woman.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is about her that bugs her so much, but I feel like it would be nice for them to just come, at least have a ceasefire. And we don't have to be friends, but come on. Like, I actually like, because I know you listened to the read, and I remember it was a few episodes ago where Kid Fury actually said, like, I would love them to just come together and be like, let's make some money. Like, let's go on a tour, or let's do a mixtape together, like something. Because Cardi and Nicki together, they would make a lot of money.
Yeah, they would.
And they would make fire music. I bet we'd be listening to those songs for years to come. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like Cardi might not necessarily be like the writer that Nicki is, but Cardi's, I love her as a rapper. I think her delivery is sick.
Both of them
So, and
have their merits in their space.
yeah, I think that they're
for
doing
both of
good
them.
music
Yeah.
together.
You can just, both of them, everyone's mad.
Do you think they'll ever squash beef?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think Nicki would ever. Cardi wouldn't be. I don't think Cardi would be the one to approach Nicki.
No, I think
Nicki
they're both stubborn. in their
definitely
own
wouldn't
ways,
approach
yeah.
Cardi, and I feel like Nicki gets a bit of a rush or a kick out of being like, yeah, I don't fuck with this bit. Good luck to that woman.
And it's also like, it's also unlikely that will happen when they were never friends in the first place. So there isn't like, even if we wake up one day, we're not necessarily mad at each other anymore.
Yeah.
We're not going to be friends,
Yeah.
most likely. So
They're just gonna get on with their independent lives, and
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be okay with it.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving.
Well, I mean, everybody just minds their own, and you know,
That's it.
maybe Nicki, don't take shots at anybody else's man, because I'm not gonna lie, you will always lose that one.
Hot kettle black.
Like, there's just no point. You will always lose. But yeah, speaking of messy female rap shit, did you see Pardi, Mr. Fontaine, doing his? The look on your face is exactly what I was looking for. Because I was literally, when I was listening to the last episode of Off the Cuff, I was like, I'm so upset that he started doing this tour after I know that they recorded, because I know Chrissy would have had some thoughts.
I think an emotion that I've experienced quite a lot over the past couple of weeks when it comes to pop culture is just shyness on other people's behalves.
It's important to have.
Mr.
On your
Fontaine,
own behalf,
you
at least.
are 42 years old.
I know, I
He
was so
is-
shocked by that.
42.
He's grown.
You are a big man. Sir,
That's crazy.
let's maybe
I can't believe he's
put
that
the
old.
media equipment down and start to look inwards. Because what the hell is going on? You're actually a big man, and this is what you're doing. It's given clout chaser. It's given like groupie for the limelight. Because before Meg, yes, you were a writer. And you had your bits and pieces going on.
Yeah.
But sir, we don't know you.
Yeah, literally. We only know you for being Megan's boyfriend, and I know that I knew he writes for people, but I think the only song I know of him as an artist is like that one he did with Pardi. So essentially,
What's that song?
it's like called Backing It Up. That's it.
Oh,
Back
back.
It,
Oh,
yeah.
is he on that song?
Yeah, that's him on it with Cardi.
Oh, he's rapping?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I know he does songs, but so this is what this is for. He's released an EP or album or something. I know. And I'm like, wow, okay, so you're trying to be an artist now. I just assumed that you didn't really want to be an artist like that you prefer to write, and you would just drop one for fun every now and again. Because if you go on to Spotify, he has like one song a year or something that he drops.
One of my biggest fears,
Yeah.
is that my black husband
Will be 42 one day.
and either decide to become a rapper or decide to get cane rows. Those are things that I...
And he did both.
Oh, those are things that I truly live in fear of every single day, that you're just going to wake up and decide like, oh, maybe I'll give it a go. No.
To be honest,
No.
from when we saw that big fat feminist tattoo, we should have known. Like, from there, I knew there was something up here. Like, I said, there's something amiss here.
Something is amiss.
Honestly,
It's just
because
like...
I was just like, because when his diss track, The Person, or whatever he calls it, when it came out, I was just like, okay, well, this seems highly unnecessary in response to one bar. I just don't think a whole diss track is necessary,
And
but
then
fine.
You also said that it's not... Megan didn't call you out by name.
No.
And if it's not you, sir, keep quiet and face front.
That's
all
what
you have to-
Megan said.
that's
She said, if
actually-
you say I'm not talking to you, then why are you responding to me? Like, why are you trying to make the shoe fit if it wasn't you, kind of thing?
It's just like, is everybody okay?
Chrissy, you know what the craziest thing is? I don't know if you've seen all the clips of those interviews that he went on, but in one of them, he admitted that he cheated on her. So it's like, So what are you upset about
What
then?
was all of this for?
Because this is the thing. Either way, I don't understand. Because if you didn't cheat, then why are you assuming that it's a response to you? And if you did cheat, then what exactly are you upset about? Like, it's not a lie.
Just keep shut.
And he was basically like, oh, but I didn't cheat first or whatever. And it's like,
yeah, that was...
So, whatever. Like...
That whole situation is so messy, and I don't think we'll ever know the truth.
What with Tory and Megan and everything.
Part of me can understand Pardi's frustration.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. If
just,
some of what he's saying is true,
just
I can
in the sense that
appreciate you being upset.
If he found out that certain things had happened, sexual or not,
like he basically implied that he didn't know about Megan and Tory, and if the rumors are correct, maybe the baby as well, because people were saying them two in particular, that he didn't know that she had sex with them before until then, when everyone was finding out. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Do I understand why he's upset at her lying to him about it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, number one, I don't know if I necessarily want to be honest about. I don't know. It's a sticky one because we're all in the industry together. So I feel like that. With that being said, maybe it's best to just tell him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. On a normal level, I wouldn't say that a woman is doing something wrong by telling her new man like nothing about who she dealt with.
Yeah.
Because it's my past and it's not really your business. Like if I'm not, doing it while I'm with you, essentially I don't really have to tell you. But it's also like a two-parter. It could also be that, well, maybe Megan lied because this is the type of thing that you might do.
Yes. Do you
know what I mean? Like, perhaps because it's quite an overreaction.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she lied to you in the first place, because you do the most a little bit. I don't know.
It's
just
all
a thought.
Very muddled, but I think from what I saw anyway, parts of it was that she had slept with Tory on the night of the shooting, or they were It was
that
all
might be the case because they were at Kylie
Haga.
Jenner's house. So if they were sleeping together anyway and they were at her house, that could have been. But I don't really understand why people keep trying to introduce that in the situation with Tory, because none of it means anything. Like,
wasn't she with Pardi when this happened though?
I don't know if she was with Pardi when she was that night that she was shot.
Oh no, I mean, were they together in a relationship at that point in time?
Well, when the trial was happening.
No,
when she was sleeping with Tory.
When she got shot.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I'm sure that was afterwards, because that was like the biggest thing in the forefront with Megan for a while, and then she got with Pardi afterwards. But if there's a chance that they could have been and they just weren't open or out yet, but I don't think so, because I feel like it was quite a gap in between her getting shot and then her being with Pardi. But I think that his upset was more that she lied to him about it when he asked her. Fair. And I do understand that, because I wouldn't be happy if I asked my boyfriend something like that as well, and then I found out on trial with everybody else, with the whole world. I wouldn't like that either.
You did what?
Yeah, like, so you're telling the judge, but you won't tell me.
And he's in the crowd like...
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I totally get that. But I just feel like you can be upset without, doing the most about it. Like, there's a way of going about things. I just talked to Megan about it. Basically, like, because the whole thing really, to me, when I listened to the whole thing, I was like, honestly, to me, it sounds like you're still in love with her. Yeah. And you're still hurt off of the situation. So I feel like the only good you can get out of talking about this is talking to her or talking to friends or a therapist. Like, but to be releasing a diss track off of the back of basically your own private couple shit that nobody really knows what's true or what isn't, because that's what's so frustrating about the Megan thing. And that's what I didn't like about what he did, is that he knows that there's a lot of people for some reason that don't like Megan. And that when shit happens, people are so ready to be like, see, she's always a mess, or see this and that, like basically, or slut shame her. Like, he knows that. So it's like you're feeding the masses because you are mad at Megan right now, because you could have absolutely just ignored that bar. It was not necessary to write a whole diss track in response and then start doing this tour where in some you're saying that you didn't cheat on her, then in a couple other interviews you're saying that you did cheat on her. It's like, so you sound confused. There's a lot of men talking for you, isn't it?
You know exactly how I feel about that. At this point, it's not even just podcast equipment they need to take away from men. Just media equipment in general.
Just mics in general.
Disconnect their internet access.
How do you rap though? He's an artist now.
I don't give a heck. Him not rapping might actually be for the good of the industry. Honestly. Mr. Fontaine, seek Christ, seek Allah, seek Buddha. Go to the gym, do yoga, do anything but rap. We don't want to hear it.
And also, and this is what I ended with, because the part that pissed me off the most about the diss track for me was where he came for her makeup. Like, he has a line in there that says something like, you spend hours doing makeup, not a blemish, but your foundation is off. I said, sir, you did not just.
Do you know?
Now you're going too far.
One line that really got me was when he said, "You're pretty in the face, but your soul is disgusting."
Disgusting. Oh my God. I was like, well, drag her there. That's why when he said, oh, like, I'm not doing this, like he was playing the victim, like, I'm not calling you all types of this and that. So I'm like, you might not be calling her bitches and hoes, but you called her a lot of things.
Pretty in the face.
Like, you insult someone deeply without calling them in like a cuss word. Do you know what I mean?
That was a wild one for me, and I think both parties are hurt here.
Yeah, definitely.
They just need to take it off. That's a lot of the times. The solution is for them to just take it offline. Log off. We don't want to be involved in this group chat. We actually don't want to hear it.
This is the thing, because that's why, like, when people have a side or whatever, it's like, you can't really determine what happened and what didn't happen because we don't know. We weren't there. We didn't see it all. There could be a chance that there's truth in some of what he's saying, or, you know, there's a truth in the middle somewhere, and both are like, who's to say? But ultimately, like you said, it doesn't really help to put it all online. And I honestly don't know if this will do wonders for his mixtape, because no one's talking about his album. Nobody seems to even understand. When I've heard so many people discuss this press tour, nobody's even contemplated why he's on a press tour. No one's even asked why is everybody talking to Pardi Fontaine. No one's even asked. Like, nobody even cares about a project. So did this really help you like that?
Well, sorry to that man. Love and light.
Sorry to
love and light
man. And also in regards to Megan, do you see that they're still trying to appeal Tory and now his bodyguard has come out with a statement, still trying to force this. Oh, Kelsey and Tory were struggling with the gun, and that forced Megan to like kind of address that as well and be like, listen, I don't understand why, like, you've done so much to get people doubting me in the court of public opinion. You got your niggas online saying that you didn't do it. You got your bodyguard saying it. You got this person saying it. But the one person it should have mattered from was you. You didn't even get up in court and say that you didn't do it. Why didn't you do that? But you'll do it everywhere else. So he's like, you shot me. And to be honest, like, I know that there's muddy things about that night and there was definitely a lot of confusion. I feel like even from the beginning, though, it definitely seemed like the most logical reason or the most logical explanation was that Tory shot Megan, because I was like, if it was any inkling or chance if it was Kelsey or the bodyguard, they would have instantly thrown their name in it. There's no reason why they would protect the bodyguard and they wouldn't protect Tory, who was a millionaire in that car. There's no way. So the only reason for me seeing everything play out that it's being done in this way is because it was Tory that did it. So, like, even from that in itself, that was always what I went with. But whenever Megan speaks on it, she never sounds doubtful at all. She sounds like someone who very much saw the person who shot her. And that person was Tory. Because, again, why would Megan just say if it was Kelsey? That's the thing. Like, why would Megan leave it muddy?
Why would she need to lie about it or just... Everyone's weird. Everyone is so, like...
This is the thing. Like, it's just like... And I can't believe that this is still being discussed near 2024.
You can't make sense out of nonsense. That's what it comes down to. Like, when I read these things where I see the stories and whatnot and my head starts there, I just think this is not supposed to sense. I can't even English right now. There's no way to make sense of this because it doesn't make sense. No. And will we ever know the truth? Probably not. Can we move on? I hope we do.
I hope at the very least that people stop randomly bringing this up every 3 months.
Yeah, it's actually enough
by 2024. Because at this point, it's like, Tory's in jail, the trial is over, whatever. Like, you lot believe what you want to believe. Because ultimately, people can dislike people, that's fine.
That's fine.
But then when they attach it to them trying to act like Megan is somehow to blame
that's different.
For her shooting, I just feel like that is so... Don't you guys see that that's weird to feel that way? That, do you know what I mean? Such passionate dislike for someone that you're dismissing them being shot. That's so strange to me.
Like...
But hey.
Everyone's weird. Everyone's weird.
Real life rap shit.
Real life rap shit. Like, I just think people need to take the stuff offline, take us out the group chat. We don't want to hear it. Take the mics away from men, cut their internet access off, and let's go from there. But yeah, these are gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you to Couture Nails.
Shout out Couture Nails.